Good morning. Welcome, and thanks for coming out of the fog into the light at Lake and Wildlife. Thanks for coming this morning. We've got a great meeting with a lot of interesting speakers, and I'd like to get this thing going. First of all, I want to say thank you, and I want to say our prayers were with you, Mary Lou, with you and Ed and your family, and we're glad to see you back here. Thank you for coming today. Thank you. Second of all, I just want to mention that I had a gentleman rehab our podium. And if you haven't noticed, we've got a new top, we got a new front with a display. We have wheels so we can use it and move it. We have a shelf to put our stuff. We have a locking wheel so Glenn doesn't trip on it anymore. And we got a holder for water for our speakers. And this was all done and donated material and labor by Gary Rivas. As you know, Gary handles the woodworking part of Youth Fest, and he lives way up on the top of Big Stump, and so I just wanted to thank him. He wouldn't come. He said, no, I don't want anything to do, no. So when you see Gary, just thank him if you would, please. It was very nice work, very nice job. Thank you. All right. We always start out with the mission. What is our mission? Let's stay on the mission. It's a privilege that includes the responsibility to take care of the natural world around us. Therefore, Lake and Wildlife works to preserve the natural beauty and wildlife of Bentry by encouraging BTCI, the community, and all the residents to be good stewards of our natural resources. So we continue to monitor, educate, and volunteer. We do that all the time, and we'll continue to do so. Today we will welcome any new members, which we may have. Our board liaison report from the board by Glenn. Committee reports, which will be short, the treasurer's report, and then the Bentry Stables. And we'll have Shayna Sweet here today to talk about that, and her husband Clint, who's here, and adjourn. Board of directors report to us, Glenn.
I'm not sure about this thing, so bear with me. Let's talk dredging. Okay, since I was here last time, we've had a major change. We had hoped that the company doing the dredging would be here by now or next month. They now say they won't be able to come here until June. Of course, this is going to be a major inconvenience for the boaters and the beachgoers. We've been asked, and it's a very good question, why don't we start at Mulligan Cove and work our way around? The problem is, when we set up this program, our top priorities are the beach and the marina, and that's where most of the gunk is. We want to do that fully and then make sure it's done, and then whatever capacity we have left over from the $1 million that we're spending would go into Mulligan Cove. If we start at Mulligan Cove, we run the risk of not being able to finish up the beach and the marina areas like we want. I believe, talked to Ashley, he was going to talk to the company to see if there's any chance that they could push it back for a month or two. But we have the problem that if we get pushed to the end of the line, we could be having the same discussion next year. And remember, we went out and very aggressively sought bids. We only found 2 companies that were willing to even put a bid in for this project. Apparently they don't like HOAs. So right now our plan is that they will be here in June. We're hoping that we can get a respite for the Youth Fest week. But right now we're going ahead with the plan as we can, working with the company as much as we can. Also kind of related to that, we're looking at pushing back the repaving of Little Pine Mountain from the front gate to the tavern. We were going to do that this summer. But because we may have some dump trucks coming in from the front gate, we don't want them destroying a brand new road. So we may be pushing that project back. So any questions?
Where's the good news?
It's spring.
Actually, 2 weeks ago, he was supposed to talk to that company. I haven't heard anything, but nobody had even asked them about a time to go later.
I didn't, I don't know. I talked to Ashley Thursday. He was going to contact them. I don't know.
He was going to contact them when I talked to him a week ago last Monday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, that's what he said.
Well,
So nobody has contacted them, as far as I know.
we'll get the word out as soon as we find. We're going to sincerely try to work something out, but we don't know. We're concerned that if we get at the end of the line, this company, like I say, we could be having the same conversation a year from now. Gerald?
Why would we feel like we're automatically dumped at the end of the line when that company is the one that put us off until the worst possible time they could dredge? Wouldn't they work with us to move to September, October, November?
I don't know the company. I don't know what their schedule is. I don't know how many people they have, how many
But why
communities they
doesn't
have lined
somebody
up.
know? Why, we're paying $1 million and we don't even have to say so? And we're not gonna, they're not gonna be able to swim in the lake.
They're the ones holding the cards, though, unfortunately. Like I said,
Well,
we
they are,
have
but
two
somebody
companies
gotta
that are
ask.
willing to do this, and we have to have the work done. And it's gonna be inconvenient anytime we do it.
Which month is worse than starting in June?
I don't know, you
There's
tell
not
me.
one.
And I've done research and you can't swim in the lake when they're dredging because there's too much bacteria coming up. And so I don't see the youth week happening around the lake.
Possibly, I don't know. I don't know.
But somebody should know.
We'll try to find an answer for you. Any other comments, questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate it. I'll lock the other wheel now, I'm sorry. Okay, moving right along. Our committee updates, fundraising, Tamarack Treasures. I know people want to talk about Tamarack Treasures. It's going to be scheduled for this fall. We're working through it, and we'll give you more updates on that. We need leaders and volunteers, to say the least, and we'll be talking more on that. Hanging baskets. Hanging baskets is going on right now, and Marietta, would you want to speak?
The deadline to order your hanging baskets is this coming Monday, and thank you to everybody who's already ordered. Delivery date is April 11th, it's a Saturday. If for some reason you can't be here, I'm happy to hold your plants until you get back to town and get them to you. So, thank you again.
Thank you, Marietta. Obviously, there's order forms over there on the table. I'd like you to continue to order, and of course, they're available at the post office as well as the 19th hole. Whispering Springs, we're gonna have this year. Andy, do you need
Yeah, I thought I was next. KBTV. Oh,
Yep.
we still got Whispering Springs. I'll sit down.
Oh, I thought there was something else with Whispering Springs, but I just couldn't figure it out. And we'll have more in Whispering Springs, but we may do it twice this year, and so Denise will head that up and look for people to participate. KBTV, okay, Andy.
Okay, landscaping. Landscaping, we're going to do our spring planting of vinca and an entire mulching. The goal is to mulch everything. That's the post office, the mail center, the administration, the back gate, stuff like that, okay? That's going to happen the first full week of May. We're going to need help with the mulching and the planting. So we will be sending stuff out, okay? And we did not plant this winter any annuals because we can't put deer netting over them, evidently now. And the deer eat everything.
Yeah, but yes, are great.
Daffodils, Lou and Lou, Doug again, and Jan. These ladies have put these beautiful daffodil bulbs in months ago at the front entrance. Have you seen them? Okay, so I need help with mulching and planting the first full week of May. Have a date. It will be during the week. And we've tried to do things on the weekend and get the families and the kids involved, but it never happens. So we're going to do the week. Plus, during the middle of the week, we got use of Travis and the maintenance folks, the ground maintenance, they'll help us with an inloader and stuff like that. Okay. Community gardens. We now have 18, correct me if I'm wrong, 18 community beds. And they're all sold out for the year. So if you want to take a little golf cart ride, go down to the quarry and look where we've got community raised beds. It's really nice. Okay. And then, what's next? Spring to come.
Spring is coming in.
Hang on. Some part of the arts events with BTAC, we have a Meet the Big Tree Authors coming up on March 22nd. It's a Sunday afternoon in the Fireside Lounge. Big Tree authors. I mean, we have so many talented authors, and we're going to feature a couple of them. And then I'd like to also, I want you to be aware, if you have an activity in this rec room, starting March 22nd and run for a week, will be an artistic display of poetry and photography. And the published author happens to be sitting very near me, and she's going to talk about, just quickly, talk about what it is.
Oh my gosh.
She worked for many years with the Domestic Abuse Council, domestic abuse.
All right, it's my turn, sit down. I didn't know this was going to happen, so I'll be super brief. It is going to be, my husband and I were like, spacing things this morning when we got here to make sure it would fit. It's heavy, the subject matter is heavy, so just so you're aware, the topic is domestic violence. The images, the photographs are of nature to lighten the heaviness of the subject matter. It is something that I just wanted to bring awareness to the population. 1 in 3 women will be impacted by domestic violence, and I forget the statistics for men are on the increase. It's sad. So a survivor of domestic violence will go back to their abuser on average 9 times before they either leave or so I didn't mean to hijack your meeting. I didn't even know I was going to hijack your meeting.
There you go. It'll be up for a week down here, so come down at any time.
Okay, great. Lynn, thank you. Thanks for all you do. Appreciate it. Okay, wildlife, as you know, Miguel, our wildlife chair, is over in Germany on the Rhine on vacation, and just left a short note with me that obviously the deer are getting pregnant at this time. The bears are out all around, as you know. If you have bird feeders, you know the bears are after them. The geese are returning, and we're doing some things down at the beach to try to deter them in the morning and at night. Turkeys are starting to come around. There's not many turkeys around in Bent Tree at this time, which is unusual. We got foxes, skunk, and coyote that are also moving around, especially up on Denny Ridge and up on the north end. Way up on Big Stump, you'll see them all the time. And last but not least, the baby squirrels are all over the place, and they're trying to mate, and they're trying to eat, and they're trying to have young, and as you know, they forget everything, so they just keep going in circles until they find it. All right, Lake and Streams. Huff is not here today. He is doing fish research in a pond in South Carolina somewhere. But he said he'd report his findings and his catch. Anyway, we're monitoring the streams. We're monitoring the streams every month, as you know. This month we'll do streams and we'll do macros, macro invertebrates. We'll be monitoring the streams and the incoming and outgoing throughout the whole process and throughout the dredging. But right now everything is normal. I won't go into all kinds of deal. I put that out on Wednesday Wildlife. You'll see it, but DO, pH is all normal, and so we're in good shape coming into the lake itself. The dredging you've talked about. I'm sure the concerns will be taken, and the board will have reasons and also answers for you. Habitat conservation. Dara is in South Carolina, not here today, but she continues to move forward with education and planting in common areas, green spaces, and so on. Barb has been helping her out. Barb is here today with her daughter, and we thank you for your help, Barb. They will be doing a May session on planting and harvesting, and also spring flowers, and also attendees may in fact get plantings to take home. I'm sure it'll be great. Appreciate it. Thank you. Order forms, as you know, Wildlife Wednesdays, keep an eye on that. Wednesday, Friday, and of course the Echo articles coming up in the Echo on habitat as well as wildlife. Project and maintenance, we have trail signs being worked. We'll talk further about that next month. Power lines are being maintained, and of course, the beach in that area around there where they're working. We have a beach recreation area advisory committee of which Miguel is partner with Andy, and they're moving the projects forward as we can, where we can, with the budget we have. I'm going to jump into special events because we have employee lunch again this year, which was well attended last year. We also are going to have a fish fry this year, and it looks like we're going to have it around June. I don't know if anyone wants to speak specifically about that at this time, but we are planning to have that, and Eldon is again ahead of it, and Linda. So, go ahead.
Speak a little bit to the fish fry. We do have the date, it will be June 17th. And there'll be more information next month and some sign-up sheets for that. But the fish fry is definitely on for June 17th.
Great, thanks. Appreciate it. Let's move on to trails. A little activity on trails. Mason?
We've got some exciting news coming forward on the Forever Memorial Trail. It's going to be restored and rerouted. Ventry is helping us out with that a lot, and they're going to start work on that this week. So keep an eye out on the Echo and the Friday News, Wednesday See Wildlife, and we'll have an announcement when we get the trail open. I'm going to be planning a work day on tentatively April 11th to do some trail work in the primarily in Sally Off Beaver Run areas. I think we're going to keep focusing on that. And then this month's hike is going to be at our neighbors over at Big Canoe. We're going to be doing some of their easy trails. That'll be on the 25th, and again, keep an eye on the weekly email update articles at the Friday News, the Wednesday Wildlife, and you'll see information on that hike.
Thanks, Mason. Okay, volunteers, obviously, we're always looking for volunteers, so you'll see more about that and be contacted by Megan and others, especially for Tamarack Treasures and other events that we have coming up. Megan, any other comments on new volunteers?
Kick off spring, like Andy's talked about all the mulching and stuff that we have to do, trail work. If you need a shirt, because you gotta be out there with your shirt on, so we always have big turnout for our spring volunteer events, so come and contact me if you need to get your shirt so you're ready to go.
Great, thanks Megan, appreciate it. Treasurer's report. Very easy, very simple this time of year. We started with 23,287, 35 revenues so far at 533, expenses at 1152. So our balance of the bank is 22,668. Again, revenues coming from some of the partners' meetings and donations. The big expense this first part was setting up the garden plots on the community garden, and that's an upfront cost, and then of course as they pay their monthly fees, it gets recovered. So community garden, again, is the expense. That's some stream monitoring expenses for reagents and chemicals we use to do the stream work, and chemicals to test and test kits. Very little expenses, and we'll be watching that as we go through the year. And special thanks to Denise, our treasurer, who's put this all together. She deserves a hand. She watches us close, which is what we want. Upcoming events. April, we will have a session on bears. In May, plants, habitat, spring planting. That's with Barb and Dara. In June, we'll have special reports by each of the committees and what they do and how they do it and kind of where we go, so people have a more in-depth knowledge of just what each committee does at Lake and Wildlife. August, we'll have a special presentation on eagles by the presentation group that did the snakes, if you remember the snakes. This group out of Rome is very good, and Mason's having that. September's open, will be filled shortly. October, we're going to have a special session on Bigfoot. Andy's arranging this. He's a great speaker. He's out of the Bigfoot, I'll just say, conservancy in Blue Ridge, but very interesting. It's always interesting to hear something. Okay, Lake and Wildlife. You can email us at bentreelw@gmail.com. You know who we are, so you can always write, email, send us any of your regards. We're going to move next to the presentation on the stables. Before I do that, two quickies. Number one, Fred has let me know, and people hear that, on Wednesday at 10 a.m. at the stables is the first big work session of painting the fence and rails. So anybody that can handle a paintbrush, they would appreciate you being there to help them out and get those rails and fences back in line. And secondly, our speaker today is Shayna Sweet, as you know, and her husband Clint is here. And to give a little background and a formal introduction, our general manager, Jim's going to just give her an introduction for us. Jim?
Good morning. I'm not going to take too long to go through the history of it all, but you know we've struggled in the past year and a half or so with the stables and what we were going to do with it. The bottom line in dealing with the board is we knew we didn't want to be in the horse business. That's just something that Bent Tree really wasn't qualified for. But the stables is the DNA of our community, so we tried hard to find a owner-operator to come in and lease the property and run the business. We ran a national RFP. We didn't really get a good response on it, and so one Monday I went to a stables group committee meeting, and we just said, you know, we don't know if there's a future for the stables, and the committee decided to go to the board and say, let's close the stables down. I don't think there's a future for it. And the next day, just out of the blue one afternoon, my phone rings, and it's just a random call, don't know who it's from. And I hear this voice on the other end, and it was like a cowgirl angel. And she says, my name's Shauna Sweet, and I saw your RFP, and are you still looking for someone to run your stables? And you know, in life, you kind of just, you go through life, and you just, if you're patient, sometimes opportunity just kind of bites you. And I looked at this as something of, well, we've already decided we're going to go to the board and close the stables down. Should I just tell her, no, we're not interested? And I said, heck no. Every opportunity, you know, needs to be investigated. So I said, sure, you know, when do you want to meet? And they're like, well, we're 10 minutes away. And I said, well, I'll meet you in the stables in 10 minutes. And through the last couple of months, you know, we've really developed a relationship with them. They were at a crossroads with their life and their business. We were at a crossroads with our opportunity, and we just kind of met at the fork right there in the road. The board has been wide open to this effort. We have a lease in place. It started February 1st. They've already started to move in. So we are excited today to come to you and introduce Shauna and Clint and let her tell you kind of her vision for the stables and when things are going to get started and what it's going to look like when it operates. So, Shauna, welcome to Bent Tree.
Good morning. Thank you, Jim. First, I would like to thank the Lake and Wildlife Committee for inviting Clint and me here today to share a little bit about ourselves and our plans for the Bent Tree Stables.